Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Morning Coffee Review. It is a beautiful, sunny June 17th. Hopefully, you all had a good Father's Day, and hopefully, the weather's treating you nice. We're at mixed odds over here, but today we've got some fun things to talk about. Usual banter, as always. Michael and I like to join these sessions a little bit early and just sort of gab and get caught up. So, today we're going to dive right in because Michael's technically got the day off, and we want to kick him out and let him go have some fun. So
I'll still work a little bit after, but yeah.
How's it going today, my friend?
It's going good. Excited to be on. Like we are just talking about, some big things coming. And some of the things that we'll talk about today will be kind of in that same vein, especially with what they announced at Live. So the first one, as we're going through and learning more about, the top 5 shortcuts, is going to be something that will evolve, and it will definitely be announced at Bluebeam Live, Bluebeam Unbound. Yeah, in a more formal way than what it was at Live, but I'll tell you how it was spoken about at Live. Essentially, at Bluebeam Live, you would have tool sets that are essentially associated to the user, and that would be managed in the admin portal, is what it was spoken about, right? And that is coming on the horizon, hopefully by the end of this year. As they talked about, they're trying to get a lot of those things that they announced at Live by the end of this year, and hopefully before Unbound they have it. But that one is going to be your association to your tool sets cloud-based. That way you don't have to worry not only for an org admin, but also ease of use for your Bluebeam cloud. Now, I don't know how directly those are going to work, but what it was spoken about was that that's going to be a lot easier for also org admins to associate new profiles to them, right? Because you remember the old deployment route and how it was harder for deploying because you had to deploy these profiles. Where do they live? Some people do it on their network, but what if they're not on their network? And if you go to Bluebeam Cloud right now, you get a one-time push, right? So you have to upload. It's not as easy as it should be. But hopefully they mitigate that as they talked about it Live, and hopefully that comes to us hopefully before Unbound. But actually, when you look at the dates, this year's flying by, isn't it? It's already June.
It's already past the middle of the year. Speaking of June and things that are coming, I've been spending more time on the Bluebeam Communities page.
Have you?
And there was talk about org admin. So with the end of life for Prime has been announced, and it's gonna basically the end of this month, right? The integrations are gonna stop. There's gonna be some changes to org admin, and I saw somewhere on there, I don't remember where. I don't think it was somebody from Bluebeam, but they said June 30th would be the new org admin. So a couple weeks from now, we might be able to get in there and start talking about that. So as soon as we know more, you'll know more, as we always say around here. So. But on the notes of the community thing, if you haven't checked it out recently, there was a great little contest. Doug was just mentioning it in the chat as well. Weird use cases for review. And there's some really good ones in there. So if you've got something where you're using review and it's not a construction takeoff or whatever you're using review for, go in there and share. It looks like there's an opportunity to win a prize or a badge or something. But
what'd you see? Did you read through them, or you're just saying that was there?
No, like what was it? Someone's using Bluebeam for their classroom whiteboard while they teach. So they're using a touchscreen laptop with a stylus and using it that way. Another person
like the old smart boards, you remember?
Yeah, exactly. Another one was inspired by an activity at a bug meeting. They made a word search, and then in sessions, everybody got a different color highlighter and got to do a word search together, which is pretty cool. I love a good word search. The one that Doug shared, the one that I thought was cool, he knows a person who was going through his son's Lego sets and noticed missing pieces. So then he found the PDF instructions, created custom tools for each of the various Lego pieces, and then with some simple markups, he was able to figure out which pieces were missing from which set, and then you can go order the missing pieces. That's brilliant. I know we've got hundreds of Lego sets laying around the house that we probably lost pieces to. That would be a good solution if we had the time. But there's stuff in there for marking up sheet music and basketball brackets. If you've got something unique, hop in there. Looks like they're going to
I didn't know you could order Legos that were missing. I thought you just kind of were out of luck.
Oh, is there an opportunity to make money? Then that's what they're going to do.
I did not realize that. So you could probably look up the set if they still manufacture it, because I know there are some that are like, special edition or whatever. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, you can download the instructions for any set, and then if you've got the pieces, you can just make it. Right? Obviously, it gets tricky with decals and everything if it's one of those sets, but yeah, pretty fun stuff. So, speaking of Lego, I've got nowhere to tie. I don't even know where that came from. I was just excited to play with Legos and not think about work today. But Unbound, speaking of Unbound, right? Michael and I will be there again, end of September. It's coming up pretty darn quick. We'll probably start booking travel next week and getting all that set up and start planning maybe a little happy hour, after hours, before work, coffee meetup over there with us. And then, we'll have a good old time. So again, Unbound ATG is a code that will save you 20%. Or there's other options too, but hurry up, get registered.
We're gonna be planning some good swag too to bring for everybody. So
indeed, and I will see you in a little more than a month when we get together in Little Rock. So we'll do some more planning and maybe another Bluebeam MCR live.
Yeah, we'll see what that kind of looks like from while we're out there. We have another leadership meeting, Jason and I do, and then technical leadership meeting, and then we have our tech summit. So we put on every year annually a summit for not just us, it's also a support team, but it's for continuing education. It's kind of like our own mini AU, would you say, Jason?
Yeah,
kinda?
It's our own little Unbound, right? We're all going to get together and learn and do some team building and all that stuff. We've been doing it for the past few years, and it's always a good time to get back to good old Little Rock. But before we talk more about that stuff, let's get to what we're here for today. So Michael came up with an amazing little list of topics, and today's one is not clickbaity at all. It's top 5. What is it?
Top 5 power shortcuts in Bluebeam Revu. That'll save you hours.
Top 5 power shortcuts that will save you hours in Revu. So I don't know what his list is. I have my own couple ideas. So we're going to see where he goes. This might end up being a little bit more than 5. So let's sit back and watch the show.
Yeah. So I think number 1 is going to be custom tool sets with hotkey access. So this is an underutilized one. And again, going back to the mantra of it, shortcuts, right? So this will be first number 1. And to talk more about that, I'll just open up a document here. And as you go through and get ready to make your markups, typically what folks will do is you can still search for things down in here, but if there's some frequent ones that you're using all of the time, this is a highly underutilized area. You can even copy an existing one that you have over here to your My Tools. So even though you have it in your custom tool set that's specific to a company or something like that, but if you're using it frequently enough, I don't know, there's got to be a sweet spot here. I would doubt I'd want to hit, I'd actually probably hit 100 on my number pad. But basically what you're able to do with this is the numbers aren't just counting how many are here. The numbers are actually associated to the number keypad on your keyboard. So if I wanted to go through and place, let's just say, this count for a sync, all I have to do is hit 19 on my keyboard, and I can, I guess I can't see. What's that, 15? I guess I need to make the numbers better, but 15. Then I can go through and place my count wherever I need to. And as you can see down below, that was the actual markup. That was 19, but it was actually 18. There's the count. As I'm placing my markup, I then was able to count, and I just hit the F5 button. But I now have 3 syncs here. Again, just the hotkey, making it easier for you to go through and place things. So just super simple. This is definitely an underutilized area that folks don't use as often, I feel like, because they have their own custom tool sets and they're going over here and clicking what they need to. But again, my tools, that ability to go through and associate these. And then also, if you don't have the numbers of, I would say, I don't know, what is a good use case? If you're building these up and you have a surplus of them, you can move them around. Maybe you're using some more frequently than others so that you don't have to hit a bunch of numbers on your keypad. You can still store them in here and don't have to go as far, but as you're switching up different workflows, maybe, you can just drag these around. This green one can then be dragged up to the front. Now that's number 1. So if I hit escape, hit 1 on my keypad, now I have that specific one that was over here. So again, that ability to go through and make that. The other one would be switching between them, drawing mode versus property modes within here. So if you want an exact copy of the original one, again, you're just double clicking on that or right clicking and just saying properties mode versus drawing mode. Making, again, just easier for you to navigate through here and saving these into My Tools. Now, at any time, if you make a recent markup, you can always drag it into My Tools and then into any other tools, because just be aware, as always, recent tools does go away. So that function of being able to go through and save these markups is definitely a time saver in allowing you to use these. Would you agree, Jason?
Absolutely. That's a good one.
Let's see. What's my next one? Yeah, I guess you could do that way. So the next one is going to be search and hyperlink. So the ability to go through and search for something in hyperlink. There could be, I don't have a door schedule here, but we'll just use a plan view for a door schedule in this instance. But you can hyperlink things to a spec doc. So if that's ever something you need to go through and do, you can easily place a hyperlink either via the batch feature if you have complete. If you don't, you can still do it one-off. So let's just say if I wanted to reference this to some type of spec doc, you can actually just left click and hold and drag. And the only thing here would be, yes, you can hyperlink it to somewhere, or it can open a document. Now, if you do open, you just have to be aware that it's going to open at a location. Does someone have access to it? This is probably where I would actually store things in a project, but if it's local to a drive, great. If not, you can also link it to a hyperlink, maybe the manufacturing website, right? I'll go somewhere to one right here because I know one. Let's see. I could bring some of these up. I don't know if they have a direct page to like a spec doc here, but I'll go to door. Ooh, they do. So let's see. I don't think this is going to be the exact one, but we'll do something similar. So I'll click this one, and then what I'll do is copy this, boom, and then hyperlink here. And now we have a hyperlink. So someone can come through here and select this, and it's going to bring you open to a custom door. This is a company I used to work for, and you have some options here, but you can get some technical specs. I probably should have done it straight to the tech specs sheet, right? And they can have that. So again, being able to quickly go through and reference via hyperlink. And you could do this in batch too. Again, batch hyperlink if you wanted. So you have this option if you have complete only. But that's a good one. We've done this before for RFIs. Same kind of case scenario. If someone's requesting for more information, let's go over here. Maybe someone's requesting more information about this specific sync. You can do the same exact thing with your, once my Teams goes away, with a markup. You can just highlight it. And then there's things called actions in here. So you can select a markup. Once you've selected the markup, you then have that ability to go and edit that action. And this is the same exact window that you had before. Now, if you're looking to hop through to a project, there is one button you'll need to be aware of, which that one doesn't have it. So I'll show you. It's in Review under Preferences. We've done this workflow before. I just forget. It is this one. If you wait.
Yeah.
It's this one, right? Yeah.
I think it's
got to be. We're working through it to see. Yeah, that's it. Thanks. Good call, Jason. I always forget this one. But yeah, so basically I'll show you what that one is. It's Studio, and it's this: open and save files to Studio from toolbar only. So again, selecting D, checking it means that you can then open to. So if you had a spec doc that was part of projects, which some folks are starting to use that more so after Bluebeam Cloud evolved into an extension of the desktop application, they're storing things in projects like they should be and using dashboards, but this could have referenced to a file that lives in a project. So these are all of my projects. I could have referenced to a file location in there, and then it would open that one, right? As long as the person has access to that studio project, of course, right? So
right, and that's the big part. If they don't have access to that particular studio session or project, then that link's going to be broken. Before we move on, I want to add a little bit of context to a couple things. Michael's still on version 21.5. He hasn't seen the new thing that's in 21.6 that some of you in the chat have noticed. So with the My Tools shortcuts he was just showing you with the numbering, now you can tell any tool set to have the numbers. So if he were to have 21.6 for his flooring example, click on the gear icon and you can choose set numbering. That will then apply those same little number hotkeys to every tool in there, and everything in My Tools loses their number. Right? So you can really get quick. It is confusing. You really got to be on top of it. But in that example where you shared being able to
drag up into here,
drag up into there and just move those around, you would be able to just change the different tool set to say, hey, I want you to be my number one now, my number driven command now. So it would be confusing, but I could see some people really needing that. The second piece,
I guess, why would they do that without, like, because there's My Tools, right? So you just drag them up there, because then you'd have to relearn what number went to what.
Exactly. That's the part that I don't like.
I guess people were asking for it, so they probably did it.
Yeah, it's tricky. And then that example you just showed of hyperlinking that door to that spec was brilliant, right? The title of today's episode was the time saving. It's going to save you hours. Let's think about this as we keep moving forward. This isn't necessarily you saving hours. It's saving somebody else hours, right? And as we go through the history of my drafting experience, it's always to provide clear and concise information that doesn't make you think a whole lot, right? So if you're making your sets easier for somebody else to understand and they're not having to search for information or get confused, that's where the time savings is. That's where the efficiency in the design process is going to be. And as we move forward in technology with this whole model-based review stuff, like having that link there is going to save somebody a ton of time and confusion. I love it.
Yeah. And the same thing with the RFI, right? So if I go back to, I think I just deleted it, but if you go through and revision something, or maybe you're out in the field and want to request information, you could just list an RFI here and then people can add attachments to it. So again, going through and editing this action and jumping to somewhere, opening somewhere, or it can even reference to another sheet on another page. That's huge for time saving as well. So this will actually let you get a rectangle that it's jumping to. I've done this before with like going to details to help folks. So what I would do is I'd go through in this set, instead of actually having you to go through and click something that is just jumping you to the page, you could do the same set sequence for selecting this. And then I'm going to go to a rectangle, and that's going to go to my S21 sheet and detail number 4. So I'll go over here. And then all they have to do is go select that spot now, and it's going to jump them. Oops, I was in the same page. I just need to hit escape. It will allow them to now jump to that area. So as I click this, it goes right to the detail. Right, ease of use. And if you're like, hey, where are all of these hyperlinks that are happening? Don't worry. You can always go to your panel on the left-hand side, go to links. And that's these links here as well. So just, again, being aware that you have that option to go through and check out these. Right click now, and I can go through and edit action if I wanted, redo this if I never needed to. Again, just options as you're going through. You can lock it, you can delete it. The one thing I don't like is, oh, there we go. Wait, no, I'm going to select it. I bet you it's over here. And it is visible. So if you wanted to give somebody the ability to visualize this, fill. So then they know, right?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that because it'd be easy to hide the hyperlinks, but it might not be intuitive, right?
Yeah.
So if we can highlight them, that would be better.
A lot easier. Cool. Moving on. If we go back to number 1, though, I didn't say about switching profiles. That might be a different thing too. So just being aware that you can always switch the profiles with those tool sets. And my tools never changes. So if you're ever going and switching through to different profiles and utilizing those, my tools always stays the same. So that's the benefit of keeping your numbers and associations to my tools. So if I go to like quantity takeoffs and I'm like, oh, great, I have all these new tool sets and I'm actually not on the right profile. But if you had the ones that you consistently use in my tools with the number association, again, you always have that access to it. So again, just being aware, now that they have the new update, I think that's great. It was probably a need for some folks. I could just see how that would probably be a little bit too busy for me, since I'm not going to remember number 1 was this, and then now number 1 is like a filing cabinet, right? But you may be placing enough markups where you'll remember very quickly in comparison to me. So on to the next one. Okay, so the other one is Format Painter plus Copy Properties. So you can use Format Paper plus Copying Properties with Alt plus P. So that is a shortcut. So again, if you go through and customize one example, so we'll go over here. If you customize a markup, you can always use Format Painter. This is part of the just part of Revu, but you can use Format Painter here, which is Control Shift C, but you can always Control Alt P, just Alt P for Copy Properties or Format Painter. So if you wanted, you can always go through and use that. So that's another instance of going through and saving time, copying properties over as well. The next one is going to be Custom Columns and Status Shortcuts. So we'll go through and show first and foremost status shortcuts. So if you wanted to go through, and there's a couple different ways to do status shortcuts now. You can set status right here. So you can go through and say statuses, but now they have shortcuts included in them, which is awesome. So some of us that didn't know that, that was a new update. When did that come out? Like 3 updates ago?
Oh, probably 3 updates ago. I'll go do the homework on that one because I know that was a big deal.
Yep. So now you can go through and assign a status to any of these markups by using a hotkey as well. So if I go through and do Shift 9, it's going to automatically change this. And for those of you that didn't know, even though that's a long press, because I just thought of that right now, I'm like, I'm not going to hit Shift 9 when I could just do this. I'm not that kind of person. But guess what? If you are one of those people that have a nice mouse, right? Mm-hmm. You could go through and just associate it so that you don't have to worry about going through and continuously doing it, meaning reaching all the way over to hit Shift 9. You can easily go into here, and what I can do is I'll show you, and this is why you may want to make an investment in a different mouse. Which one do I want to change? That's going to be the question. Scroll left, scroll right. That's fine. So this one is a right click on your actual scrolling button. So if I select this one, I can actually change the command to Shift 9. Ooh. Won't let me. Keys. Thank you. Not commands. Action, maybe? It won't let me.
Just search for Shift, right? You're saying Shift is not an option?
It should be. It says right here, Windows Shift. Search a command. Ooh.
Search for Shift.
Sticky keys, it was saying.
Or macro is what Sheldon says.
Create a new macro?
I don't know.
Custom. I feel like it was a lot easier when I did this last time. Oh, maybe it's because always last time I was doing like something like delete, where it's just the one key.
Could be. But on there, it's showing like Control plus Z. That seems like more than one.
It's Open Task Manager right here. So Shift.
There you go. Drag a command onto the target to assign it.
But I want Shift and more.
Huh.
It said space. Wasn't even space.
That's where you got to make a macro. Then
because it's just doing Shift. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, go through and create macros, and then you can just pick whichever one. So we'll skip that one for Logitech. It's a lot harder than the single keys that I'm used to. So.
Yeah, you need to make a macro if it's not a named command within the Logitech hub. So you got some fellow Logitech users.
All right. Out there. I want to make it. Hold on. You know me. I'm not going to just do this. Shift 9. Enter. Okay. Repeating while holding, toggle or sequence.
No repeat.
No repeat. Okay. Start now. Record keystrokes. Okay. Shift 9. Oh, wait.
Can you remove those?
I could reset it.
There you go.
Okay, record Shift. So I just press it. Oh, I just pressed it once. I swear, I'm pressing it once.
I don't believe you.
I swear. I'm telling you, I pressed Shift and it did it twice.
Because you're letting go. See, Shift down, Shift up.
Oh, so I need to start
Shift.
now.
9.
I let go. But how do you stop it? How do you stop?
You need a third hand.
Okay. I guess I just need to do it in one keystroke. So Shift 9. Oh, shoot. I let go again. I got this one last time. If not, we'll continue onward. Shift 9. Oh, okay. Hold on. Hold it, Michael.
Can you delete them once they're in there?
Shift 9. There we go.
Oh, boy. Key down without a key up. So I think it's just going to hold it. I think it meant, it is what it is.
We're going to try it. It did it. Cool. There we go. Bam. And done. Set.
Magical.
So just got to remember to hold that last key. It's kind of hard to unteach somebody that's just pressing the keyboard, but cool. Done. So macros are a thing. Thank you. Is that Sheldon?
Sheldon and Logan.
Thank you, Sheldon and Logan, for helping me out there. Yes. So going through and using those, I guess I was associating to mouse to be a little bit quicker, but set statuses now have the hotkeys associated to them. And that's new. So as you go through and utilize that, again, just saving time, easy for going through and associating statuses. Especially for like punch lists and things of that nature. It doesn't even have to change the color like mine did. You can just go through and easily set statuses and make things more effective for yourself as well.
So I looked up when that came out, and that was 21.2, which was the 25th of June of last year. So it's almost been a year since that status keyboard shortcut has been there.
And they keep running. So as you're placing these, they just run. So it's 1 through 5, 1 through 8, and then 9 because there's only one in that one. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I have a couple more, but do you have a couple before we go into my couple left?
Keep going.
Okay. Next one is going to be batch tools. So there's the batch compare for differences between these. Again, the iteration for batch compare is going to be a lot more effective soon with the iteration of looking not just at the overall PDF size itself, but the overall details in terms of if things move. It'll look at different examples on here. Now, I saw this really cool thing, and I don't know if I can share it yet. Probably not. Sorry.
Oh.
I was told.
Somebody's got secret time.
I was told grilled because of things that we've said on here. So this time I can't, but I will tell you, it is going to be such an amazing feature to add value. But I will give you hints around the live event because this is what they said at live. If you remember at live, they were saying that the auto align is just the stepping stone into aligning different documents, right?
Through AI, yeah.
Yes. I was shown something through not as much AI, but easier to compile PDFs together. And that's as far as I'm going to go. But that is going to make this a lot easier. But I'll go through and show you what we're at now. And it'll be great to come back and say, you guys remember when I talked about this in June? There is the document compare feature right now. So you can go through and compare different documents. So I can compare a single current file, and then you have your second current file, which I'm going to browse to, because if I use that one, that's not what I want to do. And this is the reason why you don't continuously have this open, because I want to open it from disk, and you don't want to have to continue to go through and just click things like I just did. So I'm going to go to my demo documents from here. I'm going to then go to my sheets, my revisions, and we'll go to Rev 1 here. And what this is going to do, it's actually going to go through and compare these two documents. And you can do page align, you can do auto align, which is what we'll just do for this instance. Auto align is unavailable because the input of page is already aligned. Thank you. Cool. But if they didn't, you could just do auto align, manual align, or select Windows. And then I'll go through, and this is going to apply to a new copy save page. Cool. So this is the differences between the two pages, which is a lot. So if you go through and look at the highlighted items, it will go through and show you exactly what has changed. Anything that is revision cloud, it will show you that is what's different. So this is just a way for it to give you rev clouds. Yes, this document, people always ask, already had revision clouds on it. I know, but this is showing you the differences between those two documents if you wanted to confirm if things have changed or did not change. So this will note anything that has changed, and it will give you a visual of those so you can go through and verify what has changed and what hasn't changed. So this is the compare feature. This will save you a lot of time. There's also the overlay feature, which I will show, but I have the lovely old hack that I prefer. So if I go through and use the overlay feature, it's going to create two different overlays. So I just open up another page, and then I'm going to add another file as well. So we're going to go through and open that from disk as well. This is not going to bring me to my revised sheets because, you won't just remember the last one. So this is going to actually give you an example, which is pretty cool, so that you can verify it before, or you can do auto align, or again, going back to page align. This is way better than the manual align. So for those folks that may have used this in the past and didn't know auto align was a feature now, this is a big feature that allows you to auto align for page sizes, not viewports yet. Okay. Keyword being yet. Auto align is and will be one of the most used features, I feel like, moving into the future, because we all know viewports move. But if your viewports did not move and you just want to compare these two documents, this will overlay them nicely. The other way to do this is not by having the computer do it, but just to show you anything that doesn't align will be a typical black pen. Anything that does not align will be its native layer colors, so it does create those specific layers for it as well. So I'll exit out of this one. The other way would be if for now, until the future comes shortly, you would do something like this. So if the viewport moved, you can easily just go to that specific page. You can copy this page as a snapshot. So this is the new revised one. You would probably do it the opposite way because you would want to keep the revised one, right? So I'll go to the old one, I'll right click, I'll copy this page as a snapshot, and you can use Control-Shift-V, which is copy in same place. But the only thing is that this is intentionally done because the viewport was not in the same place, right? So you probably wouldn't do Control-Shift-V, so you can just right click and hit paste and then play a line until you get to it, right? Until they decide to align. Make sense?
Indeed.
Okay.
Whoa.
We'll go back because what I'm going to do is then show them how to change colors. What you can then do is do your multiply. Then you can select that markup as well. because it becomes a markup essentially. Then you can go through here, change colors, and you can do multiply. Now, what I will say, colorize. You could right click, and then I always recommend going through and adding this, especially since this is on this new document, making sure you add it to a layer, which we'll go through and just do Rev 1.
Which reminds me, one of these days we need to go back and revisit all the blend modes, multiply and darken and whatever.
Yeah, we typically have done this for those folks that didn't know. If you go back, there's an old video on stamps, because stamps have a big factor into the blend modes and how they interact when they're placed on documents. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else. Batch sign and seal will save you time as well. So now that we're getting into the digital world, which Jason, you talked about something, if I remember correctly, something about some memorandum or something like that was passed recently.
Yeah. So I've been working with my team on this as well. So I've got this bookmark so I don't get my dates wrong. Let me pull this up real quick. So April 15th, President Trump and the administration had signed a memorandum on, basically digitizing things and making the permitting process easier, right? So that's been a thing, especially with the California wildfires and rebuilding it and all those things, right? It takes too long. There's a lot of red tape. There's a lot of different things. So there was a memo on April 15th about, eliminating the use of paper-based application and review processes, accelerating the processing time. We talked about this on MCR a couple weeks back, but there's a big movement to make things faster and make things more digital and paper-free. Therefore, how do you stamp plans if you can't print them out and get your little rubber stamp on there? That's exactly where Michael's leading with this next tip.
Yep. Yeah, so basically, and also I know there's a lot of jurisdictions and municipalities, I guess those are one of the same, that are requiring a digital signature on the PDFs now. It's not even the wet seal. Did you know that?
Say what now?
It's not even the your handwritten look like signature. It's actually the digital signature with the authentication of it being a digital signature.
It means a little bit more because, stuff can be forged real easily.
Yeah, so they're looking for you to do trusted identities, and then from here you're going to go through and add essentially. No, that's not the workflow. You're going to go through. I know I'm going down a rabbit hole right now, but this is a lot of people have been asking about this, and what it is manage the digital IDs. So you can add any certificate from any producer, because there's going to be a lot that come out, and then at some point there'll be the most trusted one. As of right now, there isn't one. But you're going to be able to add that into here. And that's what you're going to need to do. Again, Revu can manage all of these as long as you are adding that digital ID into here. So with that being said, you can go and sign one by one. That is in any version of Revu. So what I'll go through and do is show you that example. I'm going to go through and do something I probably should never do, but we'll just cut this content. Cool. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to be able to come into here. Someone's probably going to be like, I didn't know you could do that. Yes. You do a lot with any PDFs. That's probably why you want to certify them and lock them down. And you would never scale a seal like that, but I am doing it. So all those haters out there, I'm sorry. Okay. So now if I go back to tools and I go to signature and go to sign document, you can do it one off, but guess what? I need to sign 7 pages this way.
That would just take too long.
And that's only 7, right? So if I want to do this in batch, so again, saving time, you will need to, and I've talked about this because we have folks that speak to people that are getting ready. Oh my gosh, signature. Oh, it's not going to even give it to me yet until,
yep.
There. So just be aware, even though we have a lot of folks that ask, which version of Revu should I get? If you are a licensed engineer, a licensed architect, and you are stamping and sealing things, you need complete regardless. Because at some point, everyone's going to be doing the digital signature through certificates. and it's going to be required to do it through a solution. Bluebeam does that. You will no longer be able to just have your stamp and seal in Revit or AutoCAD. Okay. So with that, if I wanted to go do this in batch, so I didn't have to do this in every 7 pages or 100 pages, whatever it is, you can just go to batch, sign and seal. And when you go through and initiate this, if you guys all saw, I saved this out to my desktop as Jason was talking about that new thing coming out, because it will overwrite it. So if I go through in here, you have your digital signatures at top. So this will be your digital signature in whichever one you've created. So depending on the ones that you've gone through and customized, you have those options here. And then you can certify it, but I'm just going to do this one. We'll just do, I don't know why I lost it.
So while you're looking for that, a little note about the core versus complete thing, because it does come up all the time. If you look at the difference between core and complete, you're getting more for it. The difference is $110 a year, which is a little more than $9 a month or 5 cents an hour. I don't know about you, but architects, they charge a lot for per their hour. So if you can save an hour of architecture time, that makes the difference on the price difference really quick.
I'm having an issue with this seal. I guess I'll just go with the out of the box one. Yeah, like Jason was saying, I was just talking to someone about this the other day. I mean, if you do the math, what is it, Jason? 400? You said base costs?
It's $440 a year for complete and $330 for core. So $110 difference.
Yeah, so it's $36 a month. I guess it's not as much as my Netflix, but it's definitely as much as my for my creative suite. So again, just being aware that this would be your price broken up every month that you'd be paying, right? So it's $36 a month. What's that by day?
How
many? 160 in a month?
I did 110 divided by 2080 because there's 2080 working days.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you did it a lot better than me. Okay. So yes, you can come over here. You can place this. I'm going to place my seal, which would be your stamp. I guess you could have it one and the same, where it's instead of it picking up the Bluebeam background image, because it's still going to have the authentication key here. You could do your seal, but there's also this ability to go through in here and just place your seal as well. So I'm going to go through and grab my seal. So here's the seal. You probably shouldn't ever have to scale it like I did, but I'll go through and scale it. And then if I needed to scale this down, you can just use that. And it's going to place it the exact same spot on every single page. So I go through and hit OK.
Oh, you got to log in. Will you remember it?
Oh, there we go. And now it is on every single page. In the places where I didn't delete it, but yeah. So easy. Again, saving you time so you don't have to worry about going through and signing it instant by instance. And there will be a day where that comes, especially now where it's required to submit digital signatures. So.
Yeah, in this day and age, if you're still looking at upgrading and getting more licenses, just get complete. Yep. There's so many things like, oh, how come this isn't working anymore? No, it's only in complete tier. It is what it is.
Yes, and I think that's it. The only other ones I have are like Control L for measuring, Control Shift R for rotate tool.
Okay.
I guess the only other thing I could do would be like going through and modifying shortcuts in Revu itself. Right? So you do have this keyboard shortcut guide, which shows you what those keyboard shortcuts are, but you also have preferences, and you have keyboard shortcuts right down below profiles, and you can customize your own. So the out-of-the-box ones, you can go to help. Do not download this and print it. This keyboard shortcut is always here. Okay?
It does not update when you make changes.
That's true. But if you go to keyboard shortcuts here, you have this, and then you can always import and export. So if you wanted other folks to follow your shortcut, you can do that as well.
Yep. just like the old PGP file in AutoCAD. But yeah, keyboard shortcuts will definitely save you time. That will add up to hours if you're in that ninja mode of typing stuff in.
And then I would take it a step further, placing it onto your mouse, and then you don't have to use all those keyboard shortcuts either. So let's see if I missed any shortcuts here.
Yeah, I don't customize my mouse very often, but I use it for copy paste a lot.
Yes. I missed the ability to. So I placed this earlier with that hyperlink. Mm-hmm. What you could have done, or what anybody can do, is if they have a door, they could have done it with a visual search to then place hyperlinks. So yeah, so instead you can go and get rectangle if it's the same door, right? Which you would hope that the visual image from this is, I don't know where this is from. This was given to us, but I would just say, let's say it's Revit, right? This would be the same type of door. It would look the same. And then you go through and search, and you can see however many there are, right? So we have 7 of these similar doors, and you could actually do this in batch. So instead of doing what I just did singularly, you can add a hyperlink. So you have that ability to go through and add a hyperlink to these here as well. Thank you.
There's lots of things you can do with that function.
Yeah, so let me go over here. Let me re-grab this. And we're going to go to this technical specs this time. Paste it. Cool. Now they all have it. Just like that. Oh man, I remember drawing these for days. This is just part of it. This is just showing you the jam. So not the actual fabrication document. But yeah, so this is a great example if you want to go and look at that. So, and using that search tool to expedite that workflow as well. And then again, if you want to verify, even though you could have selected these, and it will jump you to where they're at, you can make them color coordinated so then people can verify that as well. But just easy as that. You can do that with the door schedule versus doing it manually visually on a PDF, depending on what type of door schedules you do. If it's plan elevation views of them, or it's actually just in the schedule itself, you just highlight the text, same thing. So versus getting a rectangle around something, you have the ability to actually highlight text and automate it that way. So I wonder if this is a way to... No, because you still would use batch hyperlink to like search and do hyperlinks to pages. I'm just saying because you don't need this search functionality. This batch hyperlink feature comes with complete. This comes with all versions, like this search in place. You know what I mean? So it's a workaround. Cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking like you don't necessarily need to get complete if some of those things don't check your box, because essentially you could just search and place the hyperlinks. Just saying. Because you can also search for text. So if I wanted to say, you know, XYZ door, search, place hyperlink, goes to the manufacturing website, done. So cool.
Magical.
What do you got? Did you have a list or no?
You know, I thought about this, and I know I've ranted about this before, but it came up again yesterday. There are folks out there, firms out there, especially firms that have different offices or remote workers, right? I work for a place that has remote workers in multiple offices. What about you?
Me?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, we work at the same place, right?
So if we're collaborating on a file or a plan, right? There's probably 12 different sets of markups out there, right? So my list is twofold. One, if you're not using studio sessions for keeping stuff up and everybody on the same page, no pun intended, or yes, as Brian reminded me last week, intend my puns. Keep it all in studio session so you're all on the same page. You're able to mark up, and it's not just, oh, my set of markups didn't have that. Did your set of markups have that? Why am I redoing what Becky told me to do? Right? Secondly, If that's too complicated, or you have an aversion to Studio, it happens, right? People are scared of the cloud. They're scared of whatever. Their company doesn't allow it, or whatever. Um, the other thing that you can do is include a markup summary. One of my favorite shortcuts. Whenever you've got something marked up and you want to clearly convey what you've got going on, right? So going back to Michael's original action here, where we went back and highlighted the link, so it was intentional and that you would see it and you knew something was there. If you're working on a bunch of markups, be a pal and just create a markup summary. That way they know exactly what's there so that they can go check it out, because they may or may not spend the time or have the ability to review the markups list.
And do the append.
Now, there was a comment on the community page. Like I said, I've been spending more time over there about, hey, how come my filter and sort doesn't work? Right? Maybe I didn't want to have everybody's summary on here. Maybe I just wanted my stuff to be on that summary. How come my filter and sort doesn't work? Well, guess what? That's another one of those complete only functions. So either you got your list was demoted, your license level was demoted, or what happens sometimes, there is a bug out there that sometimes when you log into Revu, it shows you as an unpaid collaborator because it forgot about you. Sign out, sign back in, usually fixes that.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That's like one of those hidden things within the complete tier is this sort and filter. So when you go to PDF summary to sort and filter here, you don't have that option.
Correct.
But yeah, the reason why Jason was saying get a list, again, you can see what these comments are, and then you can actually click the markup. And the reason why I like append is that it will actually jump you to where that markup was made. Again, just streamlining those end users. And then for all those that didn't know, there is this lovely alt left, which is previous view. So instead of having to go back, if you clicked a hyperlink and it jumped you somewhere, don't re-scroll through your little pages. Because even if I were to scroll in a little bit accidentally over here, if you hit it, just hit twice. So alt left. Gets you right back to where you need to be.
Magical. So we've lost count. There's been a lot of tips in here. Hopefully you've learned something today that if it doesn't save you hours, it'll save you seconds, and seconds will add up to hours over time, right? But if you've got more of these and you've got other ideas that we didn't mention, throw them in the chat and we'll mention them today. Or if you're seeing this in the future on YouTube, put them in the comments below. We'll circle back because there's a wealth of knowledge in the community here, sharing stuff, whether it be everyday workflow on how to do a highlight or a markup to doing something crazy. So, and I'll add on a tip that Doug just put in the chat. If you're going to export a markup summary, learn how to make a proper batch config file that you can reuse. That way your data export will be consistent and reusable. And if you really want to see what you can do with data that's exported from Revu, go look up our past episodes where Doug walked you through Power Query and Excel and some amazing workflows that are definitely outside the box when it comes to getting stuff out there. But yeah, consistent data, pretty good. And then I'll throw in another thing. If you're going to Bluebeam Unbound Wednesday at 1 p.m., Doug will be teaching that live in Washington, D.C. So good time. And
be sure to sign up.
Yeah, sign up. Yeah. Fill it up
sign
with classes. I know we talked about the classes a couple weeks ago because that session list is posted, unlike the AU classes. The sessions for AU have not been announced fully, so why would you spend all that money to register when you could get a class about soap carving, right? The classes are usually pretty good. But the Unbound class list it's a banger list. Seriously.
Yeah, it's already out there.
It's going to be hard to pick which ones to go to because you're going to walk away with so much value. I love it. So
yeah, you actually know what you're signing up for now.
Yeah.
Whereas AU, you still don't know. I mean, everyone was made aware if their classes got accepted or not, but they haven't made the list public. I'm assuming they're trying to figure out what where to put classes. Because you remember we looked at those halls and they were super small, right?
I don't know if we looked at Nashville, but we looked at San Diego last year.
Oh, okay.
But there's a lot less classes this year at AU compared to last year, and there's more Autodesk employees teaching classes as well, which is on their trend. So,
which has happened before in the past, and then you know what happens again. You have a revitalization because everyone's mad that they didn't have the right people. Yeah, because that happened at that was a lot of things that happened at New Orleans, but one of them was that big thing, and then at Vegas they talked more about having people teach, and they want actually technical conversations, not sales. So yeah. As always, they never learn. They try to go back, try to steer the carts to a different direction, and it will happen again. So a lot more Autodesk employees pushing different workflows instead of seeing real world examples of those solutions being used. So should be fun.
Yeah.
Are you going?
I'm not going. And I'm okay with that because I'll have that big trip to Washington, D.C., and I don't want to be worn out. So Unbound is going to be a lot of fun. And I know I'm going to see a lot of you guys out there. And start booking your stuff now because it's going to fill up quick. We'll work on that this week.
Yes, I'll be back tomorrow. So
perfect.
Cool. Alrighty.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody. About close enough to the end. We'll call it good there. Next week, let me do a little teaser here. I think I can pull it up pretty quick. Michael's magical list of topics next week. Ask the instructors, coffee-fueled Q&A. So next week, we're actually going to bring coffee again. It's been a hot minute since we've had coffee. And I need to tell you about that I got an espresso machine. So
you got one?
Now,
game changer.
Next week, we're going to be fueled. So we'll coordinate stuff. But maybe we'll bring our buddy Dustin in here too.
Yeah.
We're going to have a good time. So next week, bring your questions. We're going all out. Have a good week, everybody. We will see you next time.
See you all then.
Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of the other content on our channel.